Despite the occasional blip, on the whole, Milei's attempts to slow down inflation seem to be bearing fruit. But in spite of that self-satisfied Cheshire Cat grin, not everything is going well in Milei's Argentina. So how does life feel with inflation over 270%? Friday saw the publication of the latest inflation figures for June. A slight uptick in the monthly rate caused a lot of chatter in the media, but on the whole, the rate since December has had a firmly downward trend. And the annual inflation rate seems to have plateaued for the moment at least. So on paper, everything seems to be going according to plan for President Milei and Finance Minister Caputo. But of course, slowing down the rate of inflation a little bit makes little practical difference to most people. Supermarket and high street prices continue to rise almost uninterrupted, and as night follows day, along with inflation comes devaluation. Since making a large devaluation on taking office back in December, Milei and Caputo have been strict about keeping control of the exchange rate, or at least the official rate. What Milei calls the crawling peg means a slow but steady and predictable devaluation month on month with no big swings or jumps. However, the parallel rate, known as the blue rate, continues to have a life of its own. After quite a long period of reasonable stability, in the last month or so its value has accelerated. As someone who earns a substantial part of my income in dollars, favourable dollar-blue exchange helps to keep my head above water. And independent workers earning pesos, like part of my income, are free to set their own prices to cope with inflation. I really don't know how workers on monthly salaries are getting on. I've heard, although I can't confirm, that some large private companies are paying their staff partly in dollars. But those on government wages, like school teachers and public health workers, must be really struggling. High inflation is a strange thing. I watch prices slowly creep up, most noticeable in the supermarket. Luxuries slip out of reach, and occasional purchases give a jolt of reality check when I see how much they've gone up. I can vaguely remember, more than 10 years ago now, when my wife and I would do all the month's shopping for about 1,000 pesos. I remember being shocked when the same shopping trip moved above 2,000 pesos. Now 1,000 pesos might just buy a litre of milk, and 2,000 might get you a small tube of toothpaste. In about the same space of time, a 100-gram bar of Cadbury's chocolate has gone from 8 pesos to about 3,000. Although the locally made stuff is still affordable, and last week I had one of those occasional wins when I found a 2-for-1 offer on Milka chocolate bars. On the odd occasion that I go to a cafe or restaurant, I've noticed that most no longer hand out real printed menus. It's all done by scanning a QR code and viewing a digital version of the menu. Presumably this is so the cafe can edit and update prices without the expense of printing new menus every couple of weeks. There's a chain of fast food takeaways that sells only empanadas. They serve them hot with a choice of about 10 different fillings, and all for the same price. Outside the shops there's always a sign, a black and yellow circle with the price per empanada handwritten in the centre. The small shops are scattered liberally around this part of the city, and the sign is very common and obvious when walking down the street. So I started to pay attention as I watched the price slowly increase. In the last 18 months, it's gone from 80 to 800 pesos. Regular viewers might have noticed my new haircut. Please feel free to comment below. My previous hairdresser unfortunately died of COVID, so I've been using my current guy for about 4 years. Getting older as I am, I find that my hair needs a cut less often, so a couple of months often passes between visits, which means I have no idea how much it's going to cost from one visit to the next. Just to complicate matters, my barber only accepts cash, and I rarely have much in actual physical pesos, especially towards the end of the month. This often causes longer delays between visits. 4 years ago, a haircut cost 500 pesos. Last Friday, it was 8,000. It's difficult to remember, but if priced in dollars, it's probably not changed that much. Anyway, he's done a great job, and it should last me until the end of winter. Thanks for watching. If you like this latest video, please give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed but want to see more content like this, just click on the button. If you want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee in the link below. And until next time, que tengas un buen día.